Have you ever wondered how people in the military change their job or MOS? And maybe this is something that even you are considering. Regardless of the situation, today we're going to be covering how you can change your MOS or career field in the Army. However, I would assume that with most military branches, this is kind of the same way. How's it going, everybody? My name is Sean Millette, and yes, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to change your MOS, how to get that done, the things you have to watch out for. And yeah, before we get into today's video, make sure you smash the thumbs up button. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. It helps more people see this video. And also comment something down below if you have any questions about changing your MOS or just anything military related in general. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,200 subscribers as soon as possible, so please subscribe. Now, to change your MOS, there's kind of a few things that have to happen, special circumstances. So let's talk about each of those. The number one and best way, that is probably the easiest way to change your MOS or career field in the military, especially the Army, is to make sure that the job you want to do is something that is understaffed. There are not enough people for that MOS, and if you're even luckier, the job you currently do is overpopulated, overstaffed. There are too many people currently doing it. That would be an ideal scenario. Typically, this is where you're always going to see bonuses being handed out for certain MOSs because it means that there are just not enough boots to fill each one of those spots. So the easiest way that they can get people to switch over to those MOSs is just to offer them a large sum of money. Do keep in mind, though, that if they're offering some sort of bonus related to switching an MOS, there's probably a reason for that. It probably means that people don't stay in that job for very long. They don't like it. The retention rate is very low. So keep that in mind, but you know what? Sometimes the amount of money they throw at you it can be attractive. The second and next easiest way to switch your MOS in the Army specifically is to make sure that you are coming up at the end of a contract. Usually this is about the last 12 months of that because that is your window for re-signing onto a new contract. Or even if you want to wait up until your contract ends, you have a lot of leverage that a lot of people don't realize because it costs the military a lot less money to keep you in it versus trying to train an entire new soldier to catch them up to where you currently are. So that's why they throw bonuses at people, just straight up re-signing bonuses, because they would much rather spend less money by giving you a bonus than shipping a new recruit all the way to basic training, learning everything all over again, and now the whole process is that much further behind. So yes, if you did not know, that's pretty much why bonuses exist for the most part. It's a way to keep people in, but it's also a cheaper alternative, which is crazy to think about. And with that new contract, you can have it written in there that you are going to go do that MOS because you can say, you know what, I'm not having fun doing this current MOS anymore. I'd like to go try something else. Or, maybe you didn't even know about a different MOS when you were first joining. And that's basically kind of almost what ended up happening to me. I've currently been in for about 6 years in the National Guard now, and I never knew that there were any sort of jobs that related to photography, videography, and any sort of digital media. But because these last 12 months, I've been on the last 12 months of my contract, it was decision time for me, and I decided to do my research a little more. And I found out that there are combat photographer jobs that I never even knew existed until 5 years into the military, just 12 months ago. So that was something that I shadowed a drill. I was very passionate about. I really wanted to do that. And unfortunately, the coolest jobs in the military aren't the most open jobs. So there wasn't really much luck for me finding anything. So I ended up re-signing, long story short, sticking with what I got. But in the National Guard, it's a little bit easier, I feel like, to switch MOSs than it would be in active duty. And the reason I say this is because your chain of command, basically your commander and your first sergeant, have the right to basically approve or deny you changing MOSs. It's kind of up to them. They really get the ultimate say. And I think this plays more of a factor in active duty because you're doing it every single day versus National Guard and reserves, you're doing 1 week in a month. And I feel like it would be a lot easier to fill a role. I don't think that gets denied as often as active duty would. My best advice for this would to be on good terms with your first sergeant and commander. They get a lot of say in this, but it's kind of weird because, you know, you want to be on good terms with them so that way they would be more likely to allow a change of MOS to happen. But at the same time, if you're like the best in your entire unit or one of the best, they're not going to want to lose a high quality soldier because they know that, you know, you're probably very hard to replace and they don't want to risk losing you. The fourth way, and probably the hardest way to change your MOS in the Army and probably military wide, is regardless if you're in the National Guard, Reserves, or active duty, is in between or in the middle of your contract. So let's just say, for example, you signed a 6-year contract. Right now, that is the longest one that you can sign on for and even re-sign for. So you do a 6-year contract. Now, I believe there's some time frame within, it's like a year and a half to 2 years. As long as you kind of get that first portion of that contract done, you've shown signs of fulfilling that with good intent, technically you can start to talk changing MOS. This would probably almost always have to be going after something that is under strength, and your MOS would have to be over strength, because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense, and I don't see that getting approved any other way. But who knows? Crazier things have happened. But yes, technically in the middle of your contract, after a certain point, you can try to change your MOS. Again, that's also going to need to get approved by many people up way higher than you, probably, I don't know, battalion, crazy amounts of people are going to have to sign off on that, and it's really going to have to make a lot of sense. I don't see why someone would allow someone to switch their MOS in the middle of a contract unless it made sense to everyone involved. And maybe you're one of those people. You can relate to that. You're currently in your first contract and you don't really care for the MOS that you currently do. My best advice then would be to start doing some research on like 3 to 5 different MOSs that sound intriguing to you, so that way by the time you hit that last 12 months on your contract, you already know how to get a foot in the door and what jobs you want to start looking after, so that way you can hopefully land one of those. Anyways, that is all I have for you in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I was able to give you a little more knowledge on changing your MOS in the Army specifically, but kind of also as military wide. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.